So I don't need to specify the last name. All right. Same idea between column names defined here and column names here.
Is it defined in the whole path?
Yeah, it's defining the whole name to it. In other words, if we look at our two tables here, there's only one table that has a column called SF name. So I don't have to specify the full name. The column name is enough. Likewise, here where I'm matching up student FID and faculty FID, I couldn't say where FID equals FID because there's two FIDs in play. All right? Therefore, I have to say, well, what do I want to really do? I want to match up the student's faculty ID with the appropriate faculty person's faculty ID. And therefore, I have to fully qualify the name and give the first name and last name, just as if I were to say David, talk to David, wouldn't make sense in a room full of Davids. I would have to specify which David I want to talk to which David. All right? Now, the duplicate comes into play based on these two tables only, because these are the only two tables in my from clause. So in other words, there might be another table somewhere that has a column called FF name. If it's not part of the from clause, that's not relevant for this particular statement. All right? Yes.
Doesn't matter what order, like could it be faculty?
Yeah. Yeah, we could flip the order of those and it doesn't matter. You're matching them up. It doesn't matter if you say match this one with this one or this one with this one. The results will be the same. All right. So, now let's go in and implement that. So I'm going to go back in here. And I'm going to edit the data source. All right? Configure the data source. Don't want to change the connection string. I do want to change the select statement. So, I'm going to go, here's where I'll go in the notepad, so that you can see the select statement I type in, then I'll paste it into select SF name, SL name, FF name, FL name. Remember I said we always want to pick the primary keys.
But you don't necessarily want to display them, correct?
But we might not want to display them, right?
So you always grab the keys.
Right. From student, faculty. For good measure, I'll go and add the student's faculty ID here too. And that's probably not really required. Student faculty, where student.fid equals faculty.fid, order by SL name, SF name. I'll go and I'll paste that into there. It's essentially what I had on the board, but I included these other keys in my select statement because it's always a good idea to grab the keys. All right. I'll click my test. There it shows me the student name along with the faculty's name and the respective keys. I can click Finish. Now, because I made a change to that data source, and that data source is associated with the grid view, is asking me if I want to refresh the grid view. All right. If you refresh the grid view, it's going to wipe out what I have and give me a fresh start. If not, it will leave what I have there. Sometimes you want to say yes to this question, sometimes you want to say no. If you spend a lot of time customizing your grid view, then you're probably better off saying no and then making the changes to the grid view manually. If you haven't spent a lot of time customizing your grid view, it's probably best to say yes and let it redo your grid view. I haven't spent a lot of time doing this, so I'm going to say yes. All right. And therefore, it got rid of my custom headers and all that, but I can live with that. I can go back in and edit my columns. I can make SID and FID not appear. It's still in the data source, it's just not appearing in the grid. I can go and put the proper headers on here, and I'll just do one in the interest of time. And I can go and do my other customization. And now when I run this, it will show the students, but instead of the ID, it will show the name of the faculty member.
Can you run it once with the IDs in there?
Sure.
I thought I saw something, I'm sure I'm wrong, but I just wanted to double check when you ran it.
If you enable sorting there, is it changing the SQL code on the fly?
No. There, I'm going in, and here's all the fields in the data set, the data source, and I'm going in and adding them back in.
That's not what I saw.
Okay, I remember that error. I think that's what fixes it. Or not. Let me go in and redelete these. What did you think you had seen?
I thought I saw the SID and the FID not matching on one of them.
Well, yeah, the SID and the FID won't match,
Okay.
right? Because the students, there's 13,000 students here at LC, and there's 100 faculty members. So it's not going to be like student 1 has faculty ID 1, has faculty advisor 1, student 2 has faculty ID. One faculty ID is going to be on multiple students. Let's go and there we go. Yeah, there's something about if you make a change to that, refreshing the schema takes care of it. There's probably something I'm doing wrong. We could look at the code and try to identify that. We can take a look at this. We'll try to or if we recreate this our next time, we'll spend more time trying to debug this. What we want to do next time is we want to look at the source, because we want to understand these grid views and data sources, at least on some level from the code perspective. The other thing we want to do is we want to look at the other way of joining data, joining tables together, and that's with the actual join statement. Did you have a question?
Yeah, how is it that you pull up the SQL statement, and
Oh,
then put that?
it's part of the data source.
Uh-huh.
So if you
There.
click on configure data source,
Okay.
that walks you through the process. All right. We'll see you over in lab.